What's up, everybody? Sorry about the little bit of a delay here. Um, just got a late start here for me getting everything prepped and ready to go, but we got two teams that tried their luck at the Rec League, and while they were unsuccessful at making playoffs, they did put up a really like an insane fight against a lot of the other teams. So they decided to take all those learnings and experience and come back and try it again. So we have Bop It versus Kappachungus here in week one of the Rec League. So you can kind of see the draft going on right now. And we've already seen some interesting things, some things that have not came out in the other matches here for week one of the Rec League. Twisted Fate. Mel is a fantastic response to Twisted Fate. And everything else is standard up until you see the Udyr coming out for Bop It. So yeah, deep diving into this, you see Sivir plus Enchanter, which I think is a really good combo. Really great wave clear here in the mid game. You know, Mel is a really solid answer in lane to TF, but doesn't really do much to stop TF's roams. That is one thing TF still gets off. TF is virtually not allowed in lane to set up ganks just because of the Mel deflect on the gold card here. In team fights, though, in 5v5s, Mel does have values. She can kind of pseudo front line a little bit, just seeing if the gold card's up, she can then kind of posture for the deflect. But she can also really outpoke TF. When TF does roam, she does have pretty good innate wave clear. So, overall, really solid answer. Uh, Everything else, like I said, is pretty standard. The Udyr, though, is something different that we haven't seen this week. So we'll see which kind of build he wants to go on this Udyr. And see how he wants to play it. My guess is going to be something like Leandry's into more Bruiser tank. And then the Ornn also is great into like late game skirmish comps like what Boppet's already drafted. Though Ornn into Mordekaiser can sometimes feel bad. Anytime Ornn tries to start his ult, Mordekaiser can ult him and just take it away. He gets no hit back on it. So, overall, we'll be curious to see how this goes. We do have a very slight delay on the game start here. So, we do see a lot of returning members from both sides here, but while they are loading into the draft here, let's kind of revisit some of the other Rec League action. So this is the last match for week 1. We did have Happy Jellyfish fall to MN Misfits in what was a really exciting uh, three-game series here. Minimum Talent did fall 2-0 to Caster Curse. Caster Curse getting off to a really solid good start this season. And then Big Brain All Mechanics versus Team Solid was also a very back and forth 3-game series. I think all these teams learned a lot from this week, but also got to showcase a lot of what they want to do. So we'll see how the week off for the 4th of July serves these teams here. But as you can kind of see here, Bop It bringing back One Trick Susan, Scrub Lord, Throttle, all of them returning from their time in the Sweat League. That's right for Kappachungus, XDD, Golden Sunset, Campbell, and Timo's are all returning. I believe the mid lane is the only one not returning as Christmas is going mid. So just some very minor lineup changes overall, but we'll see how this goes here. I think for this series, Golden Sunset's going to be kind of the one to watch here. He definitely had a lot of statement games last split in the Sweat League, so he has definitely cemented himself as kind of being one of those playmaker 80 carries. So we'll see how that ends up going. One-handed, what's up? What's up? Really nice series you guys had against MT a couple days ago. Yeah, I can totally respect that one-handed. Glad you could join the league. Glad I could drag Pens out of retirement, get him to install a game and grab a few buddies to play. But yeah, you guys had a really solid series. Right now, the only team that went 2-0, but still had a lot to take away from that series. As MTE did push you every now and then for some oversteps, if I remember correctly. So, got nothing but love and respect for all the teams here in the Rec League. And, like what I see so far. I'm glad we could get this off the ground and get this rolling. Speaking of Pins, he's normally a lurker here. So, we're going to wait for the spectator delay to just go by here. And something already interesting worth pointing out is this Unsealed Spellbook on TF, but it's Unsealed Spellbook with Ignite. So that is quite interesting. Come on, Riot. Riot. There we go. Took a few extra minutes there, but we are in game.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
You see an early level 1 posture already coming out from bot, but here, I'm sorry, no, this is from Kappachungus. So Duffy almost getting that ward there. So decent aggressive posture there to get the ward.
Minions have spawned.
See, we got a few people that just joined us. Yep, this is game 1, Pens. Yes, sir. See the tiers start coming out of Christmas as well on the Mel here, so definitely wanting to go Seraphs already. Teemo's already posturing for this level 1. Here, trying to zone Orin off. Nice knockup coming out of Campbell here. Interesting that we have bone plating taken by TF instead of second wind if he's gonna go resolve. But that also means that he does not have any real form of mana regen via ruins, so he's gonna be very, very dependent on this blue card. Decent poke coming out of Mel there. Mel does have a pretty strong early game. First few levels in lane, she can be really, really hard to move around. Oh, Teemo's getting a pull off onto Scrub Lord here. Scrub returns the trade and backs out here. I like the biscuits coming out from Scrub, knowing he's probably gonna eat a lot of trades here. Mid lane, a little bit of a CS gap starting to grow here. So up about 8 CS after it's all said and done here for Christmas. But running kind of low on mana. So we'll see he's backing here for the Amp Tome Sapphire Crystal. So halfway done with his lost chapter here. Oh, nice wild cards here by Pilk. Stopping the Udyr back. Look at the invade here coming out of Kappachungus here, invading Duffy's Gromp here. Though here comes Christmas. XD having to flash away from the E here. Campbell getting a little bit low. So invade here ends up getting XDD's flash burned. Nothing really coming out of it. A little bit of deep vision, though, up here for KCD actually. Kappachungus Deluxe. Pilk going back and getting the Phoenix Codex is quite interesting. Christmas not deflecting that. Okay, so use the deflect already. Makes sense here. So both mid laners don't have the greatest amount of mana regen. Though Tear the Goddess coming out for Christmas means he is at least getting a little bit of mana back. But Kappachungus taking his chance to get this first dragon here. And this first Ocean Drake I feel like is actually really solid. You know, getting a little bit of health regen in lane, getting that primarily away from Bop It is really useful. Do you see one trick going in here and making a play here? Campbell burning the ignite, but Throttle's shields and heals do kind of absorb a lot of that trade. So just a summoner burned. And one trick has biscuits as well. So he's going to be perfectly fine staying in lane. I will say Golden Sunset on this first back having BF Sword is quite dangerous. It is a pretty minor spike for Tristana, but can be a big one she can snowball off of in lane. I do like Scrublord getting back this Spectre's Cow here first, as a lot of the damage up top side of the map is going to be from magic here early on, especially when TF tries to pour it in. So a little bit of a CS lead again growing in mid lane, up about a wave and a half here, with the wave coming to Christmas. So this is going to end up being, you know, potentially a 20 CS lead, as Mel has zero issues CSing under turret. Do you see Faded Ashes coming out of Udyr here, so most likely going the Leandry's build first. Oh, Gank coming out here by KCA. Christmas having to flash away, but that's first blood going over to Golden Sunset and KCA here. So nice roam overall. They did end up losing a plate bot side, but it does get them on the board. And Campbell's also using that roam timer now to meet up with XDD and Timo's to get these scrubs. So nice map movement overall by Campbell's here. Nice trade coming out of Scrub Lord here. But Mordekaiser gets access to early MR here. He can definitely put up a fight against Mordekaiser. See Duffy making a move here onto Campbell. Campbell, though, pulling out the ult, charming up. TF is going to port here. We end up having a 4v4 in the bot lane. Big ult by Mel, ends up getting the double kill here. Flash coming out from one trick, and he ends up getting the last auto as TF flashed away. And that's Feats of Warfare going over to Bop It. So nice gank, but overall nice response coming out of Bop It here. So Feats of Warfare against a First Blood fed Tristana is really nice. Campbell, though, trying to absorb a little bit of experience here. Is probably going to have to back here soon, yeah. Oh, Teemo's ulting up top, but Duffy trying to dive here in between turrets. Golden Sunset trying to dive in there. Can he get it? He does not. Scrubblord gets pulled back again, and Teemos ends up getting the solo kill up top as he already completed the Rylai's Crystal Scepter, so there's not much getting away from him. And Golden Sunset missing another wave now is going to be painful. You see Campbell roaming up here, trying to get out. Gets the charm that gives him the movement speed coming up. Pilk, though, getting poked out here. And Christmas is now 3-1 on this Mel. Golden, though, getting at least a plate. Maybe a second one. No, just a plate here in the bot lane. The fight was probably just for vision to set up for drag, is my guess here, Pins, but we'll see what ends up happening here. We do see Proto Belt coming out first from Pilk, so that's an interesting one. Normally it's some form of Lost Chapter item into Lichbane is what I've commonly seen, but not a TF expert myself. We'll see how this one goes. One trick jumping on the Campbell here. We see his second dragon getting taken over to Bop It, and we end up having a Hextech map coming out here. So definitely quite a bit of a CS lead starting to come up mid. We see double Lost Chapter items coming out of Christmas, so that is something that is unique. Normally you don't see that.
Turret plating will fall soon.
We do see Leandra's completed. Hollow Radiance up top also completed here. So everybody on their first items outside of the support. Christmas burning the deflect early, though, does get stunned up, but ends up returning fire back into Pilk in 1v1s. Gets the solo kill in the mid lane. Flashing away, though, from XDD's ult. If Mel reflects a blue card, does she get mana refund? I don't believe she does, but it wouldn't surprise me if she did. You typically aren't reflecting the blue card, but there's probably a world where I could see her getting some mana in return. Merc tries completed up top here, so it'll be a lot better for Scrublord to get away here. Golden trying to defend this turret here, but ultimately can't. And then first turret goes over to the side of Bop It, and they actually get feats of strength completed here with that one. So. We do see Campbell has completed the locket, so that's going to be pretty useful in the coming team fights. Locket is really, really good into champs like Mel. When she presses R, the animation's pretty telegraphed, so you then pop Locket, and you can absorb a lot of her ult damage through Locket. Christmas looking for the cheap little poke damage and potential execute there on Golden, but comes up a little short. See XD dropping this Rift Trail up top side here, so wanting to get some gold potentially onto this Mordekaiser. I don't think the charge is going to take down the turret completely, but it should be enough. We do see Christmas up top. Ult coming out by Scrublord here. He kicks it back to XDD. XD, though, ends up getting completely bursted here by Mel. Though Scrublord taken into the Death Realm. Unfortunately does survive here, but that's also now Bop It looking at this dragon here as they pick up the second dragon. Do you see the ult coming from Campbell, but decides afterwards to kind of turn around and back up here. See, Duffy, though, is on the bot side here, going after Pilk. The injury putting in quite a bit of work. Throttle, though, also here to shield away the turret damage. You see a bunch of others up here. Mel burning her E here. See, she ends up flashing away ends up using the reflect here. Ult comes out. Still potentially could fall here. I think they could have continued to go. But they ultimately got out Mel's flash, which is good for the upcoming team fight. Teemos is strong enough that I think he can get in there and brawl with Christmas and potentially take him to the death realm and win in that 1v1. But we do see Orin now hitting level 13 here, so Orin items are going to start to come into play for the side of Bop It. Upgraded boots also starting to come into play. We see Christmas and Throttle already completing their tier 3 or tier 4 depending who you ask boots. Otacon does spawn bot lane here, so we'll see how this kind of changes the map and the pressure here. Both mid laners are up top side, though Christmas is the only one with TP. I don't know if Pilk has TP available through Spellbook, but we'll see. Does have the Ignite up. Campbell trying to vie for some vision here at the upper or the middle part of the river before he walks down into there. Scryer's plant kind of revealing everybody here. So no one's starting up. Golden Sunset though pushing in this mid wave, just try and get some pressure back on the map here. Teemos is up top trying to chase Scrub Lord. Duffy, though, finds XDD here. See how this fight ends up going. Viego having to burn ult, which is big for the potential upcoming team fight. Christmas, though, chipping away at this top turret. Oh, and this is going to be Pilk falling to Christmas up top, getting hit by that E. At this point in the game, Mel can just go fishing, and whatever E she lands ends up being quite a bit of damage on somebody, and a potential one-shot here. Otacon falling 25%. It looks like this is going to be Bop It's Otacon here. So next fight potentially comes up here in the next 40 seconds. Pilk will be back on the map. Deadman's Plate finished up by Duffy here on Udyr, so he's going to start getting a little bit tankier and tankier. Let's see what Scrublord does with these Orin upgrades. He is level 14 here. I think the correct upgrade is Sivir's IE here. And then the next level, Christmas should have Death Cap. Death Cap's easily the best AP item to upgrade for Orin. This is just a massive stat stick of AP. So we'll see which one he wants to upgrade. Duffy just saying what's up to Campbell. Dragon gets started up, but Patience meter ends up going out. Now they're restarting it again. And Bop It ends up getting this third Drake, so now they are on soul point here. See, Orin does have an upgrade. It looks like he will upgrade Sivir. And it is the IE. So the upgraded IE give him 93 AD. That is a lot of AD from one item. Oh, Udyr just being a complete annoyance here. Campbell getting hit up, though, by the Orin ult. Orin does get the knockup as well. And it looks like Campbell is going to fall here. Christmas, though, getting ulted here by Timos and will fall. And that's a shutdown going over the Mordekaiser. We talked about how this Mordekaiser can match the side lane against Melk here. So we'll see if this kind of starts to unleash some side lane win cons here for Kappachungus. Landry's getting upgraded here. So they are going to wait for Christmas to finish that death cap before upgrading him. And I believe this bot lane turret is going to fall here, and that is a bounty as well. So a big influx of gold picked up by this Mordekaiser. He's sitting on 2,800 gold right now. And Duffy just didn't care. He wanted to go smack this Viego. Christmas is here, though. Campbell taking quite a bit of poke damage, but ends up getting out. Rakan have E up. Rakan does not here. Duffy leading the charge here. TF popping ult. And a double kill going out as Christmas ends up picking off both bot laners here. Triple kill coming out for Christmas. See if he can turn this into a potential quadra. Christmas does push mid, though. Viego getting knocked up by Orin here. And One Trick Susan taking a turret shot here. And then a pick a card. I'm sorry, the Q by TF. Christmas, though, does pick up this mid lane turret, and that should be, 2,400 gold, so now Christmas will be on this death cap, which is a big power spike. It's going to get even magnified more by this Orin item. So hopefully he remembers to move it over to the 1 slot, because Orin only upgrades the item in the 1 slot. If it's not upgradable, it goes to the one in the second slot here. So we do need to see Orin hit level 16. Which is pretty close here, as you can see, about 3/4 of the way there. So I think this level 16 is going to be the go button here for the side of Bop It. And Bop It, look at this, just straight up start this Baron here. Christmas, though, pushing bot lane against Golden Sunset. See if the rest of KCA kind of takes this, takes the idea here of attacking Christmas. Christmas backs off in the bot lane, so. Well played by Bop It overall, getting this Baron here. And this is going to be really, really tough for Kappachungus to try and grind back from. They don't have access to the greatest amount of wave clear, and they're up against super minions. And the one really good Siege champion, Mel, for Bop It, does have a lot of influx of gold, sitting on already 4 items and fully upgraded boots. Ult used by One Trick here, so no Sivir ult for this fight. Dragon is on the map here. Duffy trying to create some space here. See Orin ult coming out here. Nice charm coming up. XDD, though, gets the dragon here, so gets away. No soul taken here by Boppet. Scrublord trying to survive here against Timos. And will end up falling to Leandry's potentially. No, it does not. Golden, though, does get the shutdown on Duffy. So 1 for 3 here overall, with Golden picking up the last one. Campbell, though, knocking up Christmas. Christmas is trying to fight through, but Golden just does not have enough damage, plus the Seraph shield. So it is one thing about the double Lost Chapter items, is if Seraph's is one of them, it does upgrade the shield ever so slightly. See Orin item used on BFT, so Christmas not moving the death cap over, but it doesn't look like that's going to matter. As they pick up this bot inhib, now they're going to pick up this mid inhib, and then reset to use all that gold, as they got quite a bit of gold in pocket here. See Shadow Flame getting completed here by Mel. Definitely one of the best items you could pick for her. And it looks like the start of a Void Staff coming up. 2.5 items completed on Scrublord here, so he's definitely a little bit behind when it comes to gold, but has plenty of experience here. Is now able to upgrade the last item for Throttle here. And that is Moonstone getting upgraded here. So Orin items all in play here. Each of them giving 1,000 gold of stats here. So you're looking at about a 13,000 gold lead when it comes to pocket and stats overall. You see some wave clear coming out here. They're gonna have to wait on the next next minion wave here. Christmas is gonna clear it. Timos is in the bot lane, trying to push back the super minions here. So it feels real bad that your one frontliner has to respond to the bot lane push. But Duffy just kind of just pushing the enemy team all around. Root coming out here. XDD having the flash away. Orin ult comes out here, Campbell being the only knockup. Pilk, though, getting completely chopped away. Golden, though, does take out Duffy here. Orin does end up coming over. And overall, they're pushing back. Scrublord, though, getting taken into the Mordekaiser ult here. Campbell getting poked away by Christmas. Shields coming out from Throttle. Oh, and a big ult coming out of Christmas to take care of XDD. And a double kill as he also takes care of Pilk. So now the bot lane of Kappachungus is the only ones left here. And there's the root coming out of Christmas and poke down. Christmas with an impressive 15, 2, and 4 on this Mel. And One Trick Susan, though, 5-0 and 11, having a very quiet but effective game here, not dying. So we can go back to the client here. They already invited me to this lobby. Let's look at the graft here. So I think this graft is going to show this game was a little even there. Yeah, so about 10-minute mark it was even. Then it started to open up. We see the graph did come back down to about 2,500 gold at the 25-minute mark, which I believe was, yeah, it was the turret and Timos getting that shut down there off of the Mel. So solid game overall for Boppet here. Go ahead and update this. They get one. And we're going to see how Kappachungus responds to this. So, overall, I thought for the most part, both teams got exactly what they wanted from the draft here. The only thing I would have liked to seen was a lot more side lane pressure coming out, especially in the mid game from TF once he unlocks his level 6. I don't think he had the most uh, he didn't have the best most effective ults, but I think once Timos got that shutdown there onto Christmas, I think he just continued to push these side lane advantages and try to spread them out. It'll always match up Mordekaiser into Mel and just perma alter anytime you can in the side lane here. And see, because I also think he wins that 2v1 if Duffy on Udyr ends up going up. So we'll see what they want to take away from that game. Any chance of seeing the game 1 draft? Yes, sir. I can definitely go to that. Here's game 2. Let me go ahead and show the game 1. Here's the game 1 draft for your pins. I'll let you have a look at this for a quick second. So we're gonna go ahead and jump over to the second draft. Here's they are close. Yep, they are both ready here. So let's see what ends up happening from this draft. York taken away from Timos. Nefiri getting taken away from Duffy. Jin now getting taken away. We see another top lane ban. This time Gnar taken away from Scrublord here. So let's see if they target. Okay, so they do save the last 2 bans for Golden here. There's dual Jin and Lucian bans. And then Camille taken away. So top lane absorbing 3 bans. AD absorbing 2 bans here. We'll see if this affects the champ pools at all for either team here. Kappachungus, though, does take the red side here in this game, too. So definitely think they want counter pick for Pilk or Timos here going on. Bop it B wanting the Zeri. Okay, there's something we haven't seen that often here. So I'm pretty confident it's going to be Zeri plus an Enchanter. We'll see what Kappachungus wants to do. I look for them to now build a team comp with quite a bit of CC here and backlive dive. Kaisa definitely follows that kind of theory. Here, let's see what they want to take here. Odds are it's going to be a jungler or a support. I could see something like Nautilus here from the support side, or Vi from the jungle side. Vi being one of the best junglers to deal with Zeri, as she just can't get away from Vi R. And then no matter where Zeri gets R'd too, like if she tries to escape over a wall, Vi follows, and then Kaisa also follows. So nice 1-2 punch taken here from Kappachungus. Let's see what Boppet answers with, and an Ivern taken away. So potentially double enchanters coming out of Boppet here. So they want to absorb a lot of this engage and this damage being thrown at the Zeri here. I would probably look at something like a Lulu. Seraphine's not terrible. But no, Boppet just says we're going to leave support till later. We want to get Christmas on another really comfortable pick here in the Syndra. So now Syndra, though, is another one of those champions that definitely hates a lot of engage. Vi is quite annoying. around the level 10, 11, where she can just auto dive Syndra here. But now you're also making Vi pick targets here. Hui coming out. Hui's another really good mid lane friend for Vi. No matter how forward Vi goes, Hui has the range and the damage to follow. Though Hui's not the best lane in the Syndra, uh, it does kind of get dictated by jungle pressure. Hui can play the poke game in the Syndra, but also if Hui does absorb a couple bad trades, Syndra can all in and have lethal pretty early in that matchup. It also depends on what Syndra's build's going to be. We've seen a lot of like Lost Chapter in the pin here, so we'll see how this goes. I prefer the more burst build Syndra, Lost Chapter into like Storm Surge, Shadow Flame. How would Talia been here? Is it okay in the Syndra? Talia's another one where like if you play the range game, you can kind of shake hands with Syndra, but Talia does have a little better gank setup here, just because Syndra's immobile, so she does get left wide open for the WE into a gank. So, I mean, Talia does have value overall. I do think Hui though is a lot safer, and when you're playing double enchant, well, we're assuming it's double enchanters for Bobbit. Hui has enough AOE damage that the enchanters can't really block all of it. So, also Hui's ult has like a 90% slow on it when it ramps up, so you can't really get away from it either. So Nautilus coming out. So we're just all inning on point and click CC here if this Nautilus does get locked in. And I really like the response here from Kappachungus. They're building a comp here to really attack these two immobile AD carries, or these immobile backline carries here. I think Boppet now needs to give themselves some type of front line here, something that can absorb some of these hooks and some of the vibe pressure coming out. I don't think Shin is terrible here. Likewise, if we look at support, we could think of Lulu. Nami's not terrible. Seraphine's another one here. Yeah, Shen actually goes hard on both sides here. I don't disagree with that one. Cassante though comes out. If you're comfortable on Cassante, he can be a pretty annoying frontliner. The W timings are key, but when he can ignore CC and get a lot of value out of that, it's really tough to play into Cassante. So we'll see what Kappachungus picks here for the last pick. Shin goes hard here. Any tank Malphite would actually go pretty good. Hey, there we go. Caster called that one. So we have a pretty big all-in engage comp coming out of Kappachungus, and Boppet has a lot of late game insurance coming out of Zeri and Syndra here, and does have really solid protection. So we'll see which comp gets ahead here. I do like Kappachungus if they are behind, just because their comp is a lot simpler to execute. They do have a lot of go buttons if one does fail, but also they have a lot of innate wave clear coming out of Hui. If Kaisa goes static Shiv, then she's also like a secondary wave clear bot here. And overall, the things that Syndra is going to EQ, she can't just one-shot burst unless she's super far ahead. Now looking at what KCA deals with, we talked about the burst build coming out of Syndra. Now I think this is more of a Lost Chapter, cooldown boots into potentially like a Zanya's or something. Because the key thing about Zanya's is you get extra value because your enchanters don't have to waste abilities on you. They can start to save them for the Zeri, for the Cassante as well. Once Cassante ults, he uses enchanters quite well. But But for the side of Kappachungus, as long as they don't waste too many ults and overlap it, they're always going to have threat potential here. And I do think overall in lane they have some really good targets to go after, so we'll see how this one goes here. God, I really do like Kappachungus' responses, B1 Zeri. But Ivern can do some really stupid Ivern stuff here. So, I'm not 100% confident 1v1 how the top lane goes. I know Malphite traditionally has a lot of annoying lanes into other tanks compared to like he's really, really good into fighters. So, we'll see. Ivern can definitely make the map kind of weird with the invades and kind of the crazy pathing he can do. But I'm really looking at this mid lane matchup here. If Syndra gets ahead, then life can be a living hell for the engagee, as Syndra can just burst him down with the help of Zeri. But if Hui does get ahead, then I feel like you never ever can survive any type of engage, because he's the main follow-up damage for those go buttons. We're going to let the spectator pick up. I'm going to go grab something to drink here. We'll be right back for game 2 here, as we look to see if KCD can respond back after this game 1 loss here to Bop and Twist It. Let's see what Golden Sunset can do on the special Kaisa skin. Celebrating Uzi's induction into the Hall of Legends. Got the special Uzi skin going on here.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
You see level 1 posture coming out of Kappachungus here. Let's see if they can find Christmas here. Oh, Christmas does end up getting taken. Pilk, though, getting a nice mana flow proc there. Christmas does have plenty of time to back.
Minions have spawned.
Looking again at these drafts, like I really like what KCA is drafted up. I've said that quite a few times. I think their struggle is going to be the laning phase, though. If they do get off the ground in laning phase, then this comp is an absolute nightmare to play AD carry into. Oh, but we see a hook coming out on Throttle. Heal having to be used here from Seraphine, so already down a combat summoner into this lane. Campbell did take a little bit of return damage here, but overall they're perfectly okay with that. Nice hook again from Campbell there. So, the bot lane getting quite a bit of trading coming in for KCA. So, I do see that Christmas brought First Strike. I got no issues with First Strike, but I think in certain matchups it's really hard to keep it up so you don't get it procced against you. Hui is one of those champions that will be aggressive and poke you down, so you don't get the greatest amount of value out of First Strike here. Don't exactly agree with that pickup, but we'll see if Christmas knows how to play with it off cooldown. Oh, Flash coming out here from XDD. Christmas, though, having a really good reaction time, eating that away. Only flashing away himself, so that is one thing you can do with the Hui Syndra matchup, is you can definitely pressure the Syndra early with jungler attention, because if she doesn't have any amount of buttons to use, like flash or anything else, summoner-wise, Hui can definitely poke her out and get some minor advantages there. See Teemos and Scrublord just kind of trading grass procs up here. Interesting that Teemos brought Grasp here, but then also brought D-Ring. We do see Ivern, though, invading here. XDD doing a really good job, actually, of stopping the Ivern passive, though. XDD, though, is going to fall. Duffy, though, flashes away. Campbell ends up picking up Duffy after the flash. Ends up being a 1-for-1. Nice flash fear coming out of Pilk here. And Campbell ends up getting a double kill here. So nice roam from the bot side here. So the bot lane of KCA definitely coming in with a much better game plan and a much better laning phase overall. I think it was a really heads-up play by XDD, knowing that if you CC Ivern, you interrupt his passive, so he can't just like absorb damage, take the buff in your face, and then just walk away. So that's pretty clever knowledge and play there from XDD. We do see, though, now Boppet trying to invade this bot side here, and XDD is just going to get one shot here by one trick. So one in return, going over to the Zeri here. We already see a little bit of an AP build coming out. That could be Bomby Cinder as well here. I do think that Malignant's first on Malphite has a lot of room. Nice trading back here from Pilk on his way, landing the fear into Q. Duffy just being an absolute annoyance and pain in the ass to XDD here. And this is actually the one champion you want to keep down. XDD, though, potentially going in on Duffy. Misses the quick charge Q. Pilk doesn't get the QW off of Duffy. And that ends up being a pretty successful invade. Scrublord Ozai, though, coming down here. Pilk using the E. Campbell, though, rotating top. See what he can make out of this. Pilk looking for that. Level 6 coming out of this Malphite here. And that's feats, the combat feats going over. And Malphite picking up a double kill off that room. So Scrublord leaving lane early, allowing Malphite to get that early level 6 and then roam down with an effective ult. So Campbell, though, with the roam, kind of making the most out of a pretty shitty situation for XDD there. Golden Sunset, though, is down a full wave, which is okay, though. He does have 2 assists, so he had a touch of gold income. Not the end of the world here. Pilk on on 4 assists, though, does help him get to that lost chapter. Gets himself an extra amp tome as well. So mid laners on fairly even ground here. Teemos, though, having this armor and Bomby Cinder is going to make him be able to stand his ground against this Cassante quite heavily. Oh, they didn't see the Hex Flash there, and Throttle ends up getting hooked, but a little bit of return fire on the Golden Sunset. XDD is down here, though, only level 5, only halfway to level 6. But here for the counter gank, Duffy's here, though, with Daisy. This is not ideal. Throttle forcing XD to flash out. So, and with Daisy up, it looks like Boppet's going to be able to turn over to this dragon here. Which I think this is okay for Casey to let go. You need to let this Vi get a little more experience and some oomph behind this first ult here. All in from Scrub up top here as Teemos ends up tanking 3 turret shots. Malphite ults out of the turret range here, so both top laners at about half health. Both mid laners trading flash there, as Christmas did have lethal onto Pilk. Oh, but Campbell coming in with the flash. Oh, and a really nice combo out of Pilk here. R in the straight QW. And that's one on the board for Pilk here. Do you see some plates given up here bot side here? Throttle does end up getting the snare on. Susan ends up returning some damage. XDD, though, going after Scrublord Ozai here. He burns the W here. Vi ult should come out. No, Scrublord ends up flashing out of the way. Duffy, though, up here, getting hooked by Campbell. Campbell is just everywhere on this Nautilus. Viol's still here. There's the Viol getting used on Duffy. Ends up burning through the shields. Christmas, though, here on the other side. XDD ends up falling. Now Christmas returning fire here. Scrublord picks up the kill onto Campbell. We see a lot of trading here in this top side, and with Campbell not being bot lane, they're definitely bleeding off some plates here. And potentially first turret for the bot side. So Campbell's got to come back and eventually just reset that lane a little bit. I think once Golden gets Static Shiv here, then I think he can definitely even out the push a little bit more. Sunfire still not yet completed on the Teemos here, though I think he's still sitting on 900 gold, so I think he's able to complete that as he gets back. Potential kill pressure here from Teemos if he lands a little more poke. I don't know, is he is maxing Q into E here. So we'll see what ends up happening. Duffy, though, picking up the rest of the grubs here. Nice damage coming out of Christmas here. Pilk returning fire, though. You know, off the EE, there's enough slow there that no matter what range you're at, EE into R, you're guaranteed to hit the R unless you're me. So potential all-in coming out of Pilk if he does land that again. Christmas, though, kind of staying out of vision. We see Campbell yet again here in this mid lane. Hex Flash is over. Static Shiv getting completed. Oh, Campbell missing the Q. Sidestepping the R here, but Pilk ends up getting taken down by Throttle. Christmas, though, kind of floating with danger here with XDD in the area, but overall, this is going to be a really... Oh, but we've seen the Flash Q coming out of XDD. Golden hasn't moved. One Trick Susan's here, and now the Zeri's online. Campbell will end up falling. Daisy showing Vi who the actual One Punch Man is. Ult coming out here from Teemos. And the W auto attack comes out with the Grasp of the Undying proc. So solo kill coming out up top here for Teemos. Blackfire Torch done for Pilk. Golden ends up finishing up that Static Shiv here. So wave clear now online for the side of Kappachungus here.
Turret plating will soon fall.
With this dragon up, we'll see what happens. Campbell potentially looking here. Q's out of the way, but ends up getting stunned here. Has to flash away. And that's a lot of health lost from your one source of frontline and entry into Fog of War here. Teemos is up top, whacking away at this turret. He does have one grub here, so that helps. Scrublord Ozai TPing quickly there as he felt confident his team was going to be able to get the dragon. And that is the objective feats going over to the side of Bop It here. So now feats of strength ends up coming down to first turret. So it'll be interesting to see how this ends up going. Both top laners completing their first item here. Campbell diving in here, but Susan's also in this area. Throttle ends up using the ult. Redemption comes out here. Timos is in the area. Ends up ulting here, but the rest of his team is a little late to come in, but Golden Sunset uses the Kaisa ult to get into the fight here. Christmas poking out Pilk here and ends up killing him under turret through the shield. So Syndra R and Flash now down. First turret also getting taken, so good upside by Christmas here to know that if he gets this kill here, he gets the turret. Even if he does trade 1-for-1 here, as the minion should finish it off. And that'll end up being the full feats of strength going over to Bop It. The top lane is trading grass procs now. See Cassante ult coming out here, and Timos is going to end up trying to walk away from this, but ends up having to burn the ult here. So with Throttle coming topside, forces Timos to burn that big engage. Duffy ended up winning that smite fight and grabs the Rift Herald. Pilk does TP in here, using Daisy as kind of this front line here. But Hui does burn through Pets quite quickly here with the red carpet. And I'm really enjoying watching Campbell play as Nautilus here. He's just going fishing. He don't care. And I like it. I dig it. Timo's just chopping away here at this top lane turret. Oh, engage coming out here from Timos though. Onto Duffy. Vi comes in here. Golden Sunset ends up ulting in as well. They're going after the back line. TP coming in from Scrublord. Throttle trying to survive here. Campbell ends up being the first one to fall in this fight. XDD is also going to fall here. Syndra ult comes out onto Malphite, and Malphite ends up falling. So what was a big engage here from Timos ends up failing, and that is a 3 for none, potentially a 4 for, oh, Polk ends up flashing away, so ends up, yeah, being a 3 for none overall here. And now Bop It looking to put themselves onto Soul Point here. Let's see what KCD ends up trying to do here. Being down 3 dragons. They're only down, 3,000 gold. They're not completely out of this yet. It's just they've got to just hold on here, let Pilk get another item or two. XDD and Timos being a little more cohesive on their engages. And overall, if the damage is there to pull the trigger with Timos, then I feel like that fight goes differently. But you only ult, the ult only grabs one. Redemption comes down, and everybody's at full health here. Nice sidestep from Pilk here, but I'm afraid it might be too much. And oh my lord, what a one-shot there by Christmas. He's sitting on 2 items now. Lose companion into Cosmic Drive. Otacon is top lane, which I think is a really big deterrent for Boppet. Throttle might end up getting caught out here. It ends up getting shut down. Vi-ult ends up grabbing one trick, and that's 2 shutdowns going over to Golden Sunset. And what was a massive, massive pick here for Kappachungus. It was exactly the pick they needed here. Christmas here on the side, though. Redemption already used here. They're on Otacon. Let's see if Timos can stall up enough time. Ends up having to ult out. This is going to end up being a 3v5 here at the Otacon. Remember, Otacon does lower resistances. Duffy ends up eating a boatload of damage, and now they are turning on. Duffy will end up falling to Nautilus Ignite. Campbell getting taken over. A Scrub Lord ends up shooting him down. Golden Sunset now cleaning up this fight with Hui ult coming out, and that's a shutdown going over to Hui. So a lot of gold going over to Kappachungus here, but Boppet did stall them from doing this Otacon. It ended up being a 2 for 2. But 3 shutdowns going over to KCA. 2 on the Golden Sunset here, as he's sitting on 2k worth of gold. And then a shutdown over to the side of Pilk, which now he's on his double burn items here. Nice damage here on the Christmas. Campbell, though, on the other side. Pilk just getting one shot here by Christmas. XDD getting charmed over here. Golden Sunset is here in the wings, but has really no entry into this fight. And KCA deciding to defend this turret is going to end up turning badly for them. And now we see Boppet potentially going after this Otacon. And I don't think there's anything that's really going to stop him. So gold lead back up to about 4,000 here. Golden does end up getting one turret back. He's almost done with his Gnasher's Tooth, sitting on about 1,300 gold here. I love the second item pickup by XDD. This is definitely winning against the shopkeeper here with this Serpent's Fang. I think this is such a big pickup here. We'll see how this ends up going here. He just got it. So KCA still has avenues of defending some entry points here. Oh, I think they pulled the trigger there on Duffy. That's a dead Ivern. But I don't think they knew where the rest of Boppet was. See, if they can land it, KCA does have access to some poke. Dragon getting started up by Boppet here. A little bit of poke coming out the Scrub Lord here. We'll see who pulls the trigger here. It's not hard to tell where they're at. Eyeball comes out. Ult comes in from Teemos. Christmas ends up getting taken down on the backside. Golden Sunset on the back of this fight, playing through the Hui ult. Hui ends up getting a double kill. Golden trying to fight here, ends up getting Cassante ulted in. Oh, and look at the moves from Golden here. And a Dragon ends up getting taken here from KCA. What a team fight overall by Golden. Pick off Christmas on the side and play the fight back to front. That ends up being a 4 for 3 in favor of Kappachungus here. And they do end up taking this 4th Drake. So still so point for Boppet, but they delay this game another six-ish minutes. And let's just check up. Okay, so not as much anti-shielding as I thought was going to happen there. That was anticlimactic. But we'll definitely see the numbers on that as the game goes on, because there's a boatload of shielding coming out of Boppet's comp here. Ooh, and we see a Seekers getting picked up by Kaisa here. I really love that. Campbell going fishing again. Not really much in the way of CS lead. There's a little bit top lane, but everybody is just kind of on similar items. I mean, there's a touch of an advantage on the top side. Teemos is about a half item up, but we do see mid lane is about a full item up as Christmas has won over Pilk here. Pilk, though, getting ready to complete his Shadow Flame here after a wave or two. So that'll start to get even up. ADs are all on 3 items, though I still would give it to Golden here with the Seeker's Arm Guard, as I think that is absolutely massive for him to get picked up. Only if he's allowed to use it in a team fight. If he uses it getting picked off, then I think it's an absolute waste of a purchase here. So, but he's been playing super safe all game here. Teemos, though, getting traded on. He did have to ult away, so big cooldown used here. He did complete the kinetic Rukerin on this back here. So we do see a pause coming out as One Trick Susan did DC from the game here. So looking at this overall here, 20 kills to 17, about a 1,000 gold lead for the side of Boppet. They are sitting on 3 dragons, 2 grubs here, which means they are on soul point compared to KCA's 1 dragon, 1 grub here. But top lane is about an item ahead here, though Cassante has upgraded boots. Jungle is an item ahead, though it's Ivern. Utility items are naturally much cheaper. Mid lane will start to even up here, though Christmas does have the upgraded boots here. Bot lane, I will give it over to Golden as he is on his item. Oh, so we had a power outage by one trick here, so he is restarting his router. I am going to tab out real quick if my PC does not completely fail on me. So alright, I think alright. Okay, so just again, one trick season, power went out or flickered, and his router's booting back up here, so we have a little bit of a pause. But hopefully nothing that is takes too long here. So while this is going on, I'm going to do my own little personal check into the MSI plans. Because I'm going to see G2 get their ass kicked.
A summoner has reconnected.
Alright, so One Trick Susan is back, and it looks like the teams are going to resume. There will be a little bit of a pause for the spectator to do the delay, so we'll have to wait through that. Or we can just, I guess, skip ahead? Alright. Well, we see Boppet pressuring this dragon here. See if XDD can steal himself another objective here. Campbell trying to frontline and go in. Big stun coming out of Christmas, though. Golden doesn't get the receiving end of that. Oh, and now we pop. Right. Okay. Oh, wasn't that long. Pilko landing the ult here. Christmas, though, trying to go down. Redemption comes down, and everybody's at full health. XDD does end up receiving the Syndra ult, so cooldowns used quite heavily here on the side of Boppet. Timos has the ult coming up here soon. Campbell's ult halfway done. Golden Sun still has ult. XDD still has ult here. If they can get a really big ult here in the back line, this could create some hell for Boppet's comp. But they decide not to pull the trigger. So, both teams trying to get it back here and get back on the map before this dragon comes in. Let's see what some of the item buys are going to be. Pilk should have his Shadow Flame completed. He does. Death Cap completed for the side of Christmas, and he had enough left over for the Blighted Jewel here. So getting some pen out. Nobody else really had many game-changing items purchased. Oh, we're seeing potentially a full Zanya's come out of Golden here, so Golden potentially looking to poke out. Excuse me. Poke out the Boppet comp, which I think is possible with the Hui. So, Campbell hooking the Cassante, which is not the person you want to hook here, but he does take a decent amount of damage. Again, Campbell hooking Scrublord here, so poking him out. Timos, though, oh, with a big ult here. Redemption comes down, though. Duffy's going to end up falling. XDD is going to end up falling. Christmas gets off a big stun here, but Pilk lays down the red carpet. See if this comes in. Scrublord Ozai burning down here just slowly. Ends up surviving here. Ends up being a 1-for-1 as both junglers fall here. So let's see who wants to try and 50-50 this dragon, or potentially just try to do the poke war. Christmas getting off a decent stun here. Timo's putting the ward here. Seraphine shielding up. They're pulling the dragon out. I think this is correct for Kappachungus, though. Scrublord Ozai, though, TPing onto the mid wave, and I think he's just straight pushing it. Christmas, though, TPing on the mid as well, so they're going after this mid turret to make him choose here, which is really, really good. But as they back, now they give up tempo for this dragon, so this could be a genius move from Boppet here. Timos, though, is here, but we see that this dragon is gone. So double TP burn for mid lane pressure, using that as now tempo to go into the Soul Dragon here. And now they're potentially heading towards Baron. Daisy ends up coming out. They do this Baron very quickly. Timos, though, is in the bot lane with no TP, so this is going to be a 4v5 if the fight ensues here. XDD getting zoned out here and will end up fall. So Baron and Dragon Soul picked up here by Bop It. And we're going to see what happens here as these Baron minions could be very hard for Kappachungus to push against. Hui is still pretty good at clearing them out, but he's now going to face so much pressure now. Because we see now a 4th item complete on Syndra. She got the Crit Bloom. She's definitely been at full stacks for quite a while. So almost 800 on the AP on this Syndra now. She's going to smack hard. So we do see 4th item coming out for One Trick Susan. So now this Zeri is officially online here. I like the Abyssal Mask coming out of Duffy here. See, Campbell though ends up taking Duffy. Oh, but this ends up coming out. Christmas ends up getting stunned here. Redemption comes out. Here comes the Hui ult. XDD diving the backline. Golden Sunset's trying to front to back this against Scrub Lord, but overall is not able to get anything done against this team comp here. Redemption and Seraphine ult are just too much to cut through here. Pilk laying out the red carpet here, pops the Zanyas, gets a decent passive off, but overall, it's going to end up being the series here for Bop It. What was a really, really solid comp here. I was afraid if this comp got behind, they were not going to have the shields and heals for all of that damage and engage thrown their way, but they played the lanes really well, and I think Christmas honestly putting a lot of pressure on the map overall was clutch and was the thing they needed. So trying to see if we can get a little interview here from one of the Bop It guys. It looks like we might have an interview here. Yo, what's up?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself after that series?
Doing well, man. That felt pretty good. I
Yeah.
definitely enjoyed that.
Well,
Yeah.
introduce yourself to the stream here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my name is Joey, and I just play with some friends. We haven't been playing. Well, I guess some of them have been playing League for probably a pretty long time. I think I got into it around 2021, and quit the previous game I was playing for you know this degenerate game that we play now. So.
I feel that. And
hmm
what position do you play?
I actually mainly play mid, but we kind of just swapped some things around. Just figured playing ADC was probably the best move for the team.
Okay.
So.
All right. What was your kind of takeaways from the series? You know, knowing you got a pretty tough matchup in the Kappachungus. You know, both of you guys were part of the as we dubbed it, the Sweat League last split. And I seen both of you guys look like you took a lot of lessons and a lot of the games, took a lot of knowledge away from it. 'Cause you guys look, both the teams look really sharp to this today.
Nice, I appreciate that. So I think one of the things that at least me, but I know some of the other guys talked about it too, the planning for it pregame, I think that was pretty big, you know. Like one of the things like we kind of went into it wanting to try to get their ADC to play Tristana first game. And so, you know, having a plan for that, knowing that hopefully they were going to pick that ADC. You know, we were the original. We honestly thought they were gonna. We were not expecting the TF for B1. That was kind of surprising. Not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting that. But then the Tristana pick, you know, we saw that, and that kind of was just for the first game. That was kind of our plan was to get to Tristana and then play some kind of comp that would be able to counter that. Uh, I think that was probably the biggest takeaway is pre-game planning, making sure we really know like what's happening because, and then making plans during the game. And I know I can't remember who had mentioned this, but one of the casters or one of the guys I had talked to after, like, I asked their opinion about it, and they had said that it seemed like we were just playing solo queue, like that we were all
Hmm.
like okay players, but we were just kind of playing solo queue. So it's like okay, let's actually go into this game with a plan and try to execute it as best we could. So.
Yeah, looks like it really looked that way, and it looked like you guys had a lot of answers for a lot of stuff that was getting thrown at
Mm.
you. I was concerned, specifically looking at the second draft, at all of the engage getting thrown your
I,
way.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but definitely looked like, specifically your mid laner, really had a solid series and kept a lot of pressure on the map. I know he got a couple solo kills. Excuse me,
Hmm.
into the way there, especially in side lanes. But yeah, it looks like shields and heals when you draft it correctly can absorb quite a bit of engage.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. It was definitely, I mean, I didn't say anything, but when we finished the draft, I was like, "Oh my God, I don't like I get the whole like we're gonna have a lot of shielding and healing, but I'm like, man, I don't know how I survive this." And then that first team fight in mid lane when I got absolutely jumped and CC'd for like 4 seconds, and I'm like, how the piss am I alive? I couldn't believe it. So yeah, I think that honestly, at least in my head, it worked a little bit better than I thought it was going to. And then plus, you know, I just it was pretty crazy. I think they played really well. I think specifically me, obviously, because it's who I'm focusing on. I think the Kaisa was like really good. You know, definitely mechanically to me at least played very well. And so I think that was something I noted. It was really hard to kind of like pin her down, and that's half the time. Anytime I'd see her, I'd be like, honestly, I'm not even just gonna try to like shoot you. I'm gonna shoot the person kind of next to you and let the ricochet do the job, and just really pray that it's enough and the shields work through the fact that I'm not actually hitting you.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Like they keep me alive long enough to for me to be able to actually do all the damage, I guess.
yeah. No, I thought that was a really smart plan. When you're allowed to play front to back and have that
Mm.
much shield and healing just coming your way, you can just kind of, yeah, hit the person in front and just outlast a lot of the team fights there. But no, Golden, excuse me, played really well. He had a really mechanically really solid dragon fight there where he just popped up behind you guys, one shot
Yeah, yeah.
Syndra, and it was like just continued to snowball the fight off there. It was,
I know. I saw. Yeah, that was crazy, and I think it was kind of interesting because I saw him go behind our team when we got that Seraphine ult, and then I eat over the wall and ulted their backline and killed their backline, and then I probably shouldn't have, but I complained about it for a solid 2 minutes because when it was the Kai'Sa and the Nautilus up, the Nautilus is slow on my auto attacks absolutely ruined me. I just could not believe how bad that slow was, and I complained for like 2 minutes.
yeah. Well, I'm not gonna keep you too long. Have you gotten a chance to watch any of the other games here? Is there any teams you're kind of looking forward to playing now that we've got week one done, or you just kind of going with
Um,
the flow?
so I in no, not necessarily for. I did watch like a couple minutes of one of them. I was actually just on vacation, so I haven't really had a lot of time to be able to like look. Well, the only because the little time that I had, I actually watched one of the drafts that Kappa did, and that's when they picked Tristana in B1, and I was like, you know what? I think if we take red, they might take Tristana like on their first pick. So, but that was the only thing I really got to see was one of their drafts and like 2 or 3 minutes of like one of the games though. But I definitely want to go back and watch them.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I think it was really exciting. Two series went to three games. But overall, just I'm very, very impressed with what I've seen from all the teams here in this rec league, and yeah, I'm glad everybody seems to enjoy it. A lot of competition. I'm really, really surprised at all the scrims that everybody's asking for. I was not expecting that.
That's funny. I know. I definitely we that's something we've talked about. We really want to get some scrims. I'm really excited about that. Be able to kind of like go in there and you play like your flex queue or and stuff like that. It's just not the same when you
Yep.
can go through there, actually do like the tournament style draft and stuff like that. So I'm excited to start doing some scrims if we can.
Oh, that'll be great. And the scrim. I expect the scrim chat to pop off here in this week off for Fourth of July.
Oh, for
So
sure. Agreed. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, appreciate you coming on. Appreciate having you guys in the league. A very impressive opening series from both teams.
Mm.
But you guys ended up coming out on top 2-0 against Kappachungus. But I can definitely tell, having casting some of your guys' game in the Sweat League, both teams improved leaps and bounds over what we've seen previous showing. So I'm really, really happy to see that, and I can't wait to see what you guys do in the future.
Heck yeah, man. I really appreciate the kind words, man. We're super excited that we get the opportunity to play here. This is it's really cool, like, community that you guys got, and we're just happy to be a part of it. It's cool.
Yeah, we this is kind of I started with joined the rec league, got recruited by Pens over there from Caster Curse, and that's where I started and entered this community. And yeah, it's been nothing but good times here. So glad we could continue to foster that and give teams opportunities to play and have some fun.
Heck yeah, man.
So, well, I will let you go, but much love for the interview. Again, congrats on the 2-0, and we can't wait to see you guys again on the Rift.
Heck yeah, man. Appreciate it, dude.
Thanks. All right, that was one trick Susan with Bop It Twisted here, as they do take the 2-0 against Kappachungus, and a very, very competitive 2-0. Don't let the results speak for it. It was very competitive here. So, as we said in the interview, we will be taking a week off for the 4th of July. Those teams, if they do want to schedule during the week before the holiday, are allowed to. I haven't seen anything posted in schedules yet, but the weekend just kind of ended. So we'll see some activity. If not, we'll definitely see some scrims and some stuff going on. And overall, after this week one of the Rec League, I'm super excited to see what the future has in store. I think the teams that started the season off 0-1, they have plenty of games here. This is a 7-week season, so if you start off 0-1, 0-2, there's still plenty of avenues to get back to the playoffs. We are taking the top four here, but I'm just excited to see, what teams learned after this week off and see what champions we have, and what this all culminates to here and for week two of the LOLMidwest Rec League. So I will sign off here, but we will be excited to bring you guys a Midwest Weekly. I don't know if it's going to be this week or if we'll revisit it next week. We'll see what myself, Hairwiz, and Nexus are doing, as Nexus is going to pop in and help out with the show here. We still have to do the show for the Sweat League Finals, which was a insane 5 game banger. If you haven't had a chance to go watch it, I highly recommend it. So, but until then, this is CLT signing off as week 1 is done for the Rec League. Have a safe and happy holidays throughout the week and be safe out there. Don't need anybody losing fingers or having to make a lineup change because someone dumbed it up with some fireworks. So, deuces.